Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Welcome to Gloria Adams 69 channel. Okay, now what I gotta discuss today is about President or the incoming Marcos press con. Um, their plan and he's going to take the agriculture department. That's what he said. Okay, let's listen this.
A critical, foundational part of our economic development or economic transformation is what I'm calling it from as we anticipate the post-pandemic economy. And as we slowly pull out of the post-pandemic economy, hopefully that will be soon. Furthermore, it is going to be uh, in response to Ukraine, which have affected the Philippines and including the food supply in a very serious way. Uh, we are we spoke at length about uh, the measures that we will have to take because we are forecasting there will be a shortage or there will be an increase in food prices in the next quarters that will come, simply because of the outside forces that have been impacting upon food supply, upon supply of feeds. Um, we have been able in the Philippines in the last few weeks to adjust to the new situation in terms of the importations from the Ukraine and from Russia. But these emergency measures that we have taken will not be sufficient for the long run, and that's why we have to plan uh, in a more thorough fashion than just responding. I have asked the DTI, NEDA, and of course the Department of Finance, the DBM. I have asked them all to start to make forecasts, economic forecasts on what it is we think we will have to face for the rest of this year, that we can prepare, and so that we can, despite the fact that there will be some emergency situations, I hopefully not, but possibly some emergency situations, especially when it comes to food. Tried to fundamental development when it comes to the as to agriculture. I think that the problem is severe enough that I have decided to take on the portfolio of Secretary of Agriculture, at least for now. And at least until we can reorganize the Department of Agriculture in the way that it will make it ready for next years to come. Marami tayong mga kailangang palitan, marami
Tama
tayong
yan.
mga medyo naging mga iba't ibang opisina na hindi na masyadong nagagamit o kailangan ng
True.
i-retool para sa post-pandemic. Dahil nga iba ating ginagawa ngayon, bumabalik tayo or going back to basics. Ilang beses nyo na sa akin narinig ito, back to basics. We're going back to basics and trying, and we will rebuild the value chain of agriculture. And that is why I thought it's important that the President takes
Guys, yan ang sinasabi
take
noon
that
ni Mayor
portfolio
Isko, di
so
ba?
that
Back to
not only
basic
to to
food
make it clear to
security.
everyone what a high
Yun ang lagi
priority we
niyang
put on the
sinasabi
agricultural
no
sector,
during the
but
campaign.
also as a practical matter so that things move quickly, because the events of the global economy are moving very quickly. We have to be able to be agile. We have to be able to respond properly in a measured way as soon as there is a situation that needs to be addressed. So that's essentially um, what we discussed, and that is my announcement for today. I will take a few questions. Yes, ladies first.
Since you are taking on the portfolio as Secretary of EA, what will be your marching orders? What will be the priorities specifically in order to secure this food crisis that we are already in?
There are many priorities that we have to attend to simultaneously. First of all, will be to try and increase production as we come into the planting period, the harvest period after the rainy season, during, before, and after the rainy season. Hopefully, we can counteract some of the increases in prices. You may have noted that Thailand and Vietnam, for example, one of our main sources of imported rice, have decided to ban their rice exports, at least for now.
Yes,
So
yes.
we have to compensate for that by hopefully by
Not
increasing
only
production
Thailand,
here
also
the
in
Philippines. So
India.
that's one. The other priority, which is equally important, although it is a long-term process, is the restructuring of the Department of Agriculture. As I have mentioned many times before, many of the agencies have changed their function over the years, and maybe it's time to return them. I talk about the places, organizations like the NFA, the FTI, the Kadiwa, which we have already started to see, especially at the local level. But we have to restructure the actual.
Yeah, in Manila, they had already
the
Kadiwa.
actual
Mayor Isko started it
department,
already.
so as to be more responsive to the global situation now when it comes to food supply.
Sir, I spoke from
Yeah,
Sir, maybe your policies on open pits and mining in general. How will you ensure that the government gets a fair share in mining project? There was a push before to increase taxes on mining, but it didn't prosper. How do you plan to deal with that? And also, how do you plan to boost revenue from weekends?
We have to view mining as a national treasure. The natural resources as a national treasure for which can help the Philippines a great deal. It is only up to us to ensure that the practices that are being that we see in the mining operations around the country are such that they're environmentally neutral. That has not necessarily been the case. I think we are all aware of the some of the problems that have arisen before. But again, uh, I cannot believe that here in the Philippines we cannot monitor and regulate the industry sufficiently so that we can have clean mining in the country. I'm sorry, I missed the last question.
Sir, there was a push before to increase the taxes on mining. How do you plan
To increase
the taxes on mining, sir? But it didn't prosper. How do you plan to do with that, sir?
it's it well on the taxation we also discussed that. It's not going. We're trying to adjust it again. Not so that we just increase taxes on mining. What we would like to do is encourage that the value added to the raw ore stay in the Philippines as much as possible. Whether there should be should there be whether there should be fiscal measures for in that regard is something that we haven't quite decided on, and what the levels that will be. But the I think the um, what we are trying to achieve, the desired result for all of this is, as I said, that instead of exporting raw ore, we export at least partially processed ore, so that may value added that's left here in the Philippines.
Yes, we understand that rising food prices is intrinsically connected to rising oil prices.
Yeah.
What are your immediate response to spiraling oil prices?
We just again, it has to be focused. It's not something that we talked about the listing of even just how do we do the proper listing of the indigents around the country. We to make sure that it is those who are truly in need. that hits upon, by the by, that hits upon the discussion that we have about accelerating the issuance of the national ID. Because right now I think we're up to 12 million. Is that the correct number? Yeah, we're up to 12 million. Kulang na kulang pa yon. And all of these things, like the giving of the ayuda, all of these things that we are trying, we're going to digitize the bureaucracy. It all really depends upon everyone having their national ID.
Yeah,
and the
that is
extensive
better. Yeah,
database
good
that
idea.
the government
The
should have.
national
So,
ID.
yes, so that's what.
Para wala
That's
nang
what,
maraming
yeah.
kiyaw-kiyaw, marami nang mga kung ano-anong mga hinahanap. Minsan maliit na bagay, magiging sanhi pa para hindi sila mabigyan. At saka
Yes.
yung mga mismo,
I've
yung mga
been
nagpapatupa,
seeing
yung mga
some
nagbibigay, yung
some
mga nasa
speculation.
DSWD, dapat ano sila, may alam. Hindi yung mga kung sino-sino lang pinagkukuha. Mga umiipal. Karamihan, iba yung mga katwira nila pag tinatanong sila ng mga tao.
We're down to maybe 3 or 2 in each of those departments. But we took it really department by department. And of course, health, not to say that the Department of Health is unimportant, but we are coming around to that, and we are. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll have an appointee or a nominee within the next week or so. I really want to get as many of those done before the inauguration.
Sir, on average po, sir, what are your views on the rice clarification? Some senators have expressed openness to amending it. What will be your view?
Well, if there's one part of the rice tariffication, it is the area wherein we reinvest, and the amount of funding that we reinvest into our farmers and for mechanization and for post-harvest facilities, which is part of the rice tariffication. There's 10 billion that is returned to the farming community. Maybe we can have a look at that and see. Maybe that now that we are in a situation where we very much have to boost production and we very much have to support the farmers, maybe we can look at that and hopefully increase it. Meron pa naman, pag nakikita naman natin yung accounting doon sa rice tariffication, yung 10 billion na yun, kung minsan meron pang unspent. So pwede pang gamitin yun. Yes.
Senator Coco Pimentel po, Senator Coco Pimentel po, sinabi po sa Senate na nanawagan siya na suspendin daw po yung excise tax.
Ano? Yung?
Excise tax o suspension. Sa excise tax suspension, you're nag-suggest po si Senator Coco Pimentel sa Senate na sabi po niya, basta lang po sabihin nyo lang, magpapala daw po sila ng paano kalong batas na tagal yung excise tax.
Excise tax on oil? I prefer to handle the problem on the other side of the equation and provide assistance to those who are in need. Because if you reduce the excise taxes, that does not necessarily help those who are most in need. Yung talagang tinatamaan. Kasi blanket eh. So ang aking iniisip, kung sino yung mga kagad na tinamaan. Example, yung lumabas kagad, mga transport.
Lahat ng tinamaan eh.
All of that.
Sino bang hindi tinamaan?
Natin muna sa kanila.
Ang lamang lang ng mga mayayaman, meron silang pundo. Compare sa mga mahihirap. Pero tinamaan din pati mayayaman. Lahat yan tinamaan. Dapat, ang gawin nyo na lang, yung excise tax nga, dapat gawin mo, 50%. Lahat ng mga taxes. Malaking bagay na yan sa mga Pilipino.
According to VP Alexander Duterte, napag-usapan niya daw po na reviewin yung K-12 program. Sir, can we get more details? Ano yung naging instruction po?
I don't want to preempt the VP secretary. I know we did talk about that. We talked about many
That's
of the,
good.
Many of the
Tama yan, para may
current
respeto
issues.
ka sa sekretary mo na pinili mo.
Before getting into, without getting into too much detail about what the plans are, pinag-usapan na lang, basta paganda. There was also the question of when we start to teach English, when we move from lingua franca to English, yung K-12, kung kailangan ba talaga yung K-12. Many of the other issues, ang aking laging pinapaalala sa kanya is yung mga
Kasi
teacher,
guys, yung K-12 na
kailangan
yan,
ng mga teacher, kailangan i-training
ang problema,
ng mga teacher para
itong
maganda
mga
yung trabaho
politician
nila. Yung mga
natin,
teacher naman,
mahilig
yan ang
manggaya-gaya
pinakamadaling turuan, yung
sa
teacher
batas
eh.
dito sa
So,
Amerika.
I'm very confident
Pagdating
that as
sa
long as we have a
pagpapatupad,
program in
iba naman
place,
yung ginagawa
we
nila.
support our teachers, not only in terms of their benefits, but of course that's an important part of it. But not only just in terms of their benefits, but also in terms of other support, in terms of retraining, in terms of the supplies, the equipment. We have to do a lot to recover our very good grading before. Pagka tayo tinitingnan ng Asia, yung literacy rate, yung pagsalita ng English, pati sa science, sa math, mataas tayo noon eh. Kailangan natin balikan yan. Mahirap mag-compete kung hindi natin ayusin yung training ng mga kabataan natin.
Good, that's good. Good point.
Foreign ownership limit ng renewable energy, parang yun po yung isa sa mga appeal ng bumisita Norwegian ambassador sa inyo and other business groups also appealing for that.
Yeah, I think yan ang kasi hinihingi nila para papasok sila. But there are other issues before that. There are other issues before the ownership. At this point, marami nang pumapasok joint venture. Ang mahirap kasi sa ownership, hindi. Pag kahit na sila may-ari, magbubukas kung sila lang ang magpapatakbo, nahihirapan sila things like ease of doing business, yung power supply, all of these things. So, and even the bidding process, kuminsan is questioned, yung mga tinatawag na guarantees, legislative guarantees and regulatory guarantees. Ibig sabihin, hindi magbabago yung batas habang ginagawa nila yung project nila. Hindi magbabago yung regulation habang ginagawa pa lang yung project nila. Yung mga ganyang klaseng bagay. Yun ang talagang hinihingi nila. The ownership is one issue, but it's not the main one. And I think if we can take care of all of that first, madali nang pumayag tayo dun sa 100% ownership.
Last question. Sir, sa transportation portfolio, may napili na kayo or possible ba na si Art mag-hold over siya? And ano yung priorities natin sa transport in the next 100 days?
Well, transport is going to be critical because hanggat maging maayos, naging problema nga, lahat ng balita, naririnig natin they call supply side problems. Not the supply side problem, there's supply, but it's the supply chain problem. That's transport. So hindi tayo makaka-recover hanggat maayos natin yung ating transportation system. So they are very high priority. As you can see, they're also living very close to the edge. Kaunti lang tumaas na naman ang crudo, hindi na magpapasada. I think now the latest increases, ang dami nang sinabi, maghahanap ng ibang trabaho dahil wala silang nakikitang para kumita. So yes, transport is going to be an essential part because not only for passengers but also for even more for cargo. Yung mga gamit, mga raw material, pati yung finished product, dadalhin to sa agriculture.
It's a domino effect.
Food supply na apektuhan dahil sa transport. Kaya fundamental yung transport kaya kailangan ayusin. Kaya malaking problema itong nangyari na nagtataasan ang presyo ng lahat ng petroleum products. Wala naman tayong magawa. We just have to take whatever price we're getting. But hopefully, I remember in the last oil crisis, the 1973 oil crisis.
During your father
Napakiusapan naman natin ang mga kaibigan natin na oil-producing countries na medyo pagbigyan tayo in terms of the credit, in terms of the payment period and things like that. So baka we will pursue that again. Sa diplomacy side na naman yun.
Secretary.
I'm sorry?
Secretary. Wala pa kayong pag-ibig.
Lahat ng kausap kong mga ambassador, inumpisaan ko na. Sinasabi ba kung meron tayong pwedeng pag-usapan in terms of all of them who have supply of gas, who have supply of oil. I already opened the discussion with them dahil we have to explore na lahat. We have to explore everyone.
Sir, clarify ko lang, secretary po.
Secretary of Transportation.
Nahawak ng portfolio, sir.
Secretary of Transportation.
Napapasa mo yung pag-iisip ko. Tapos actually, I have a fairly good idea. Yun sabay-sabay will announce it.
Thank you.
Okay, maraming salamat. Thank you.
Okay guys, anong masasabi nyo dyan sa press con ni PBBM? Para sa akin, no, tama naman yun. Ako agree ako doon sa mga sinabi niya. Kaya yun ang sinasabi ko. Ako guys, please don't get me wrong, okay? I am solid Iskonian. But dahil ito, panibagong administrasyon na papasok, siya ang nakaupo na dyan, siya na yung idiniklarang presidente, tama na yan guys. Suportahan na lang natin ang presidenteng ito dahil ang gusto ko magtagumpay siya. Dahil pag nagtagumpay siya bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, tagumpay din ang Pilipinas, ang mga Pilipino. Kaya suportahan natin, give him a chance, no? Malay natin, no? Double job siya, no? Ipakita niya na talagang deserving siya maging Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Kaya very excited ako actually. Excited ako makita kung paano siya mamuno. At yun lang po ang dalangin ko na maging maayos yung pamamalakad niya sa buong Pilipinas at yung mga bigyan ng atensyon yung mga pangangailangan ng higit na nakararaming Pilipino at higit sa lahat yung mga bilihin ay sana naman po matutukan niya at kung lahat naman yan ay kanyang mapapagtagumpayan ay masasabi ko din tagumpay din tayo. Okay? Wag ho tayong dyan sa mga tao na puro niga-niga. O hindi pa nag-uumpisa yung tao o puro batikos na, puro niga na. Huwag tayong ganun guys kasi kita nyo sa mga pangyayari ng mga nakaraan o sinasabi na sila ang makakapag-angat ng mga Pilipino, wala naman nangyari, di ba? So tingnan natin uli. Ngayon, kung wala din namang mangyari dito, di subok na naman tayo ng iba. Subok na lang tayo ng subok. Kasi ganoon talaga guys eh. Hindi natin, kahit nga yung sarili nating pamilya, di ba? Walang perpekto. Hindi tayo magkakasundo sa isang pamilya. Lalo pa itong gobyerno, napakalawak nito. Kaya para sa akin, ang sa akin lang naman, ewan ko sa inyo, kung gusto nyo manatiling magngangawa, magkakahol, bahala kayo. Basta ako, ang masasabi ko, I want to support this incoming president, no? This incoming administration. Hindi lang yung presidente, yung the whole administration. Tingnan natin kung ano magagawa nila. Kung ano yung kasi guys, pag pinakinggan natin yung mga nigang tao, pahirap ng pahirap ang buhay natin. Yung mga nigang tao, yung mga nasa politika, mga mayayaman yan, mayroon yan mga nakatambak na salapi sa kanilang mga bangko. Sila lang yan, no? Pagdating ng final, sabi nga ni Isko, tayo din magsasama-sama, tayo yung kawawa. Kaya wag ho tayong makisawsaw dyan sa mga niga people. At syempre, tayo naman bilang individual, magsikap din tayo. Wag tayo puro asa sa gobyerno. Kailangan magsikap din tayo, gumawa tayo ng paraan, konting diskarte naman. Yung mga batugan dyan, At saka yung may mga bisyo, tigil-tigilan nyo na. Pagkatapos, puro kayo sisi sa gobyerno. Kahit sinong umupo guys, kung paulit-ulit pa rin ang style nyo na bulok, wala rin mangyayari sa buhay nyo. Hindi presidente ang makakapag-ahon sa inyo. Hindi presidente ang makakapag-ahon sa atin. Alright? Okay, so yun lang. Yun lang ang aking ibabahagi sa inyo na aking napag-alaman nitong umagang ito. Alright, gabi pala sa inyo, umaga sa amin. Okay, salamat guys. Mag-iingat po tayo at sana lahat tayo ay nasa mabuting kalagayan at kalusugan. Alright? Magpasalamat tayo lagi sa Panginoon. Tuwing pipikit ang ating mata, nabigyan pa tayo ng pagkakataon, dumilat ang mata at gumising, bigyan tayo ng kalakasan ng katawan at kalakasan ng kalooban. Alright? Okay, love, 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 love. Tama na yung bangayan, guys. Tama na. Okay. Thank you, thank you. See you again. Bye-bye.